The beast you killed was a god. Our essence, a trophy you owed, is what is tormenting your kingdom. Our spirit lashes out, bringing nightmare, death, and madness. You must mask this essence, or things will only worsen.
The voice that echoed through the land belonged to a young girl, draped in vibrant robes, her eyes gleaming as a crow flew above and then rested on her shoulders.
Stop this madness at once.
She boomed in a childlike voice. Her presence commanded respect from the warriors, who were older than her, except for the leader.
You had the nerves to show your face here. After you have brought your curse to this land, you are better off dead.
The leader approaches the strange girl who looked calm. Raising his machete, he strikes. Blood gushed in the air as the leader writhed in pain. Soon he was lying on the floor, lifeless and bleeding. The other warriors frightfully looked on the strange girl. She speaks.
You don't learn, do you?
Then she turns to Ewa and Ajo.
Your presence here is foretold. I am Asali.
She picks up the mirror as a smile formed in the corner of her lips.
Your journey must have been a tiring one. Please come with me.
Ewa and Ajo, in fright, looked at one another. They were startled by the drama that just unfolded. However, they followed Asali. They walked through a winding bush path towards a hill. A crow seated on her shoulder flew in excitement, leading the way. Mike croaking softly on Ewa's shoulder. Asali seemed to understand Mike croaks. She speaks calmly.
Don't worry, Froggy. Asabi is a great host. She does not eat our guests.
They finally reached a lake situated at the peak of the hill. Beside the lake was a small hut.
You'll be safe here.
A warm smile played on Asali's childlike face. Ewa and Ajo, still frightened from their near-death experience with the savage warriors, thanked her.
Oh, thank you. Without you, we would probably be dead.
Asali shook her head.
No. Without your visit, the village of Safati will be engulfed in flames and buried beneath the earth on the 24th full moon.
Asali speaks, looking at the distance.
You see the mountain? It will be responsible for the demise of this land. But before anything else, you both have to drink this.
Asali pulls a gong with 2 coconut shells from her hut. Pouring the creamy content into the shells, she hands one to each of them.
This would help you relax better, especially after a long ride.
Ajo and Ewa were skeptical, accepting a strange drink from the strange girl Asali. But they thought if she wanted them dead, she could have sided with the savage warriors. They took a sip, finding the drink refreshing and delicious. They gulped quickly, requesting for more. After their third round, the feeling of euphoria washed them, and slowly they drifted into sleep. Ajo finds herself roaming endlessly on a hill, watching lava flowing freely from a mountaintop and consuming everything on its path. The villagers tried desperately to flee, but were too late. Soon they were covered in molten lava. Unable to help, she stood frozen, just watching and listening to their scream. In her fright, she wakes. Ajo looked around to see Asali sitting at the fireplace.
Why could I not? Why did I stand frozen watching everyone toasted in lava?
Ajo sat up in confusion, questioning herself.
We will get the answers when Ewa wakes. Everything will be revealed to her. It won't be easy for her, but it's her destiny.
Ewa found herself returned to the stream. In the distance, she could hear the whispers of the familiar lullaby. Following the music, she arrived at a forest where a beast slumbers. She watches in surprise as 2 young teenage boys approach the beast, striking it with their sword. The monstrous creature roared in anger. It stood over 8 feet tall, resembling a terrifying mix of a gorilla and a rhino. The beast screamed, shook the trees of the forest. In a rage, it snatched one of the boys and flung them far away. The other pulls out a machete, launching it at the beast with all his might. The blade found its mark, piercing the beast's temple. The creature roared in pain before collapsing with a thunderous fall.
Zalika! Zalika!
The conqueror screams, his voice heavy with urgency, until a faint voice responds.
Zafet, I'm here. Did you kill it? Don't forget what the king said. We need to open up the beast and retrieve the items in its guts. Yes, but we have to do it together.
They both retrieved 12 bloody lumps from the belly and 3 claws of the beast. Exhausted but victorious, they wrapped their trophies carefully in their sack, heading back to the palace. Zafet and Zalika were 2 brothers who worked as mercenaries and bounty hunters. The king had promised half of his kingdom and his daughter's hand in marriage to whoever could kill the hibernating beast in the haunted forest. When they heard the king's quest, they bravely accepted the challenge, unaware of the king's hidden motive. The 2 teenagers arrived at the palace with the trophy. The king was overjoyed by their success. He kept his promise, making Zafet and Zalika chiefs of other province and prince of the kingdom. However, the king's true reason for wanting the beast dead remained a secret. After 72 months of their reign, the village priest visited the brothers. The king has gotten ill and only them could help. The 12 stones and 3 claws they had collected as trophies owed powers too much for a non-conqueror to keep. The king keeping those items in his treasure vault had led to insanity in his household. Unless Zafet and Zalika shared it among themselves, the king would never recover. The brothers agree, unaware of the true darkness that lies in the trophy. After the king died, Zafet became the king, while Zalika was a head chief. As each moon passes, Zafet grew more anxious, plagued with nightmare of the beast. Most times, he sleeps in his chamber, only to awaken in the woods. The witch doctors were desperate to help the sleepwalking king. They came up with a solution. The king had to marry again. His new wife would be blessed with triplets. When the triplets are born, the trophies in the king's possession has to be shared equally among them. Only then would the curse of the crown be lifted. King married another wife, but she didn't have triplets. He tried again with a 3rd wife. Finally, his 4th wife became pregnant on the first full moon. After arriving at the palace where the triplets were born, peace returned to the land. However, on their 3rd birthday, a terrible famine struck the land of Zafati. The clouds only released scorching heat with no rain, turning the wetland into a dry desert. The witch doctor arrives with another prophecy.
The only way to save our land is if the king can bring pregnant women from a place where the river still flows and the earth is fertile. Unless it does so, the land will remain barren and would begin to eat its own.
King Zafet ignored this prophecy until when the villagers began to weep, heartbroken over their children who were dying from a strange illness. He had no choice. He sent out his warriors to capture men and pregnant women from other lands. While kidnapping people brought some temporary relief to their community's health, the skies remained stubbornly dry. The rain refused to fall. On a scorching hot afternoon, a wanderer arrived in the kingdom of Zafati, wanting to see the king.
Your Highness, the beast you killed was a god. I sense a trophy you owed is what is tormenting your kingdom. As spirit lashes out, bringing nightmare, death, and madness. You must mask this essence, or things will only worsen.
King Zafet found it hard to believe the stranger's words. He hesitated, unsure if the wanderer was simply taking advantage of his trouble. He told his guards to lock the stranger up. That night, his nightmare worsened, only to awaken on a mountain covered in blood. Confused and scared, he manages to find his way back to his kingdom. There, he was met with shocking news. He had slaughtered his guards in a rage while sleepwalking. He immediately ordered the release of the stranger and asked how he knew about his plight.
News travel far, Your Majesty, and the trophy you keep controls elements. The god will not rest until she has what is hers. So why can't I use the elements to fight her and save my village from her wrath?
The stranger shook his head.
You have blood in your hands. That is why the elements work against you. But your descendant has a chance of harnessing its powers, especially the triplets. They are the God's way of telling you there is hope for your lineage.
So what do you suggest?
You have to max the trophy essence until your triplets take up their destiny. On the next full moon, they should each add coal to the trophy you have shared with them. Make the clothes into a mirror using the strongest woods they can find, and then wrap them in a fabric soaked in their urine. Let them perform this ritual themselves, singing their favorite song in unison. On the next sunrise, marry them off to the villages far from one another. Only then will the curse placed on this land be absorbed.
King Zaphet did as instructed, unaware that one of the princes who visited was a wizard in disguise. Using the trophy in his bride's possession, he was able to shapeshift into various animals, whilst using the clawed mirror to grant his desires. When King Zaphet died, he went in search of the other trophies, creating chaos and war to cover up his true intentions. But the land of Como was impossible to find because the trophies were never opened until that sunrise. The wizard roared in laughter and then speaks.
I have been expecting you. Thank you for unveiling the trophies.
Then transforms into a crow, flapping his wings. Princess Ewa awakens, gasping for breath.
Welcome back, Princess. You have been asleep for 2 nights.
Ewa, who looked visibly frightened, questioned.
How were you able to kill that warrior when you saved us?
I didn't. Asabe did. She has been protecting me since birth.
What do you mean?
Asabe has been like a mother and a father to me. She taught me the ways of the forest and mountains. She was the one who told me about your arrival this morning. You must be hungry. Let me get you something to eat.
Asali gets up about to leave when Ewa holds her by the wrist.
Tell me what you remember about your growing up.
In this instance, Asabe the crow flew into the hut with Mike the frog between her claws and then slowly transformed into Ewa's mother. Ewa was dumbfounded with teary eyes. She murmured,
Mom,